This is the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI Studios in Toronto, Canada.
Hey Toronto, this is Ed Sheeran.
This is Kelly Clarkson.
Hi, this is Bryan Adams.
This is Adele.
This is Madonna.
It's Michael Bublé, and you're listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep Show. It's fun. They're amazing.
So it's Veganuary.
It's your month.
I think I just like saying Veganuary.
I know. I was going to say, where's Gurdeep? We need him to say Veganuary.
I have to say it that way, Veganuary. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Like, is there another way to say it?
Veganuary?
Oh.
No.
Veganuary. Veganuary.
I think it's Veganuary. It's supposed to rhyme with January.
It sounds so much better. January is sort of that month of like resetting for a lot of people. So, they go dry this month. And it's very popular, I think, in the UK, not so much here. But in the UK, Veganuary is a thing where, you give up meat for the month. And it's all about thinking about your environmental footprint and sustainability and just finding ways to maybe eat less meat, not cut it out completely.
Because I know a lot of people do Meatless Monday.
Yes.
And if they're going to start, this is the month.
This is the month. And then, maybe you don't go, cold turkey. Pardon that pun. For the whole month. But, you try to eat less.
Right.
It's all part of Veganuary.
Right.
But I think this is one of those things where it's easier said than done. I think you get to day 3 and then you're like, now what?
Because vegan, now I'm calling it vegan. Vegan is like nothing, right? Like no meat, no dairy products, nothing, right? So it's very different than vegetarian.
Yes. And vegetarian even, sometimes people still eat fish or they'll still eat, whatever, or eggs or whatever it might be. But yes, when you're vegan, you're not eating any of that. So you really do have to find alternatives. It's not easy to do. I always say I'm vegan curious.
Right.
Because I don't eat meat, but I don't think I could give up the dairy. And if there's a vegan dish on a menu, I'm going to try it. I'm always going to order it. But I don't know if I could do that full
day to
time.
day.
Yeah. And things are getting easier and more accessible. So it in essence could be something that, I end up doing.
Right.
I should start celebrating Veganuary.
Yes.
Rather than just saying Veganuary.
Do you already do because I know you're vegetarian, but do you do like a full day ever where like so I eat meat? So like if I went Meatless Monday and I went totally vegan, do you do that where you don't eat dairy or you don't have eggs on any given day?
No, but that is a great idea.
See, so you don't even do like a Meatless Monday.
I told you I'm vegan curious, all right? Don't make me commit to something I can't commit to.
You're the closest one in this room to become vegan, and you're not even doing it.
And it's hard for me. Happy Veganuary.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
the Pooja and Gurdeep Show presents.
You're doing it wrong.
Okay, you're not doing it wrong. And normally I would be telling Gurdeep, my co-host, that he is doing it wrong, but he's not here. So, this is a good time to point out something that my husband is doing wrong.
Paul's doing it wrong.
Yeah, Paul is doing it wrong. And I don't know whether to tell him whether or not he's doing it wrong or not.
No.
It's one of these situations where I really don't know if I should speak up or if I should just leave it alone because I should just be appreciative and grateful. And before you even hear it, I have a feeling you're like, don't say anything.
Okay.
Leave it, right?
I know usually when it's like your partner, unless it's a really big deal, usually leave it alone.
Leave it alone. I know. Okay, so here's the thing. My husband's wonderful. He makes me breakfast every morning. He'll do it at night, and then I take it in the morning. But it's a breakfast I taught him how to make. The problem is, it's good. It's just he's not doing it right. Like he's not
doing it Pooja way.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not. He has all the right ingredients, but he's putting them in the wrong order. So as a result, it's not like the ratios are off. It's just it's like peanut butter, yogurt, and some granola, and it's all
okay. So how are you supposed to? How is Pooja supposed to do it?
Okay, so normally at the bottom of the bowl or the container, you have your Greek yogurt, and then on top of that, you have like a scoop of peanut butter, and then I've got this like granola mix that I use, which has seeds and a bunch of stuff, and I put that on top. And sometimes I add fruit or sometimes chocolate chips or walnuts or something fun.
Okay, see, I already think you're doing it wrong. I would put the granola first.
No.
And then the yogurt and then the peanut butter.
No, it just sits so nicely and it doesn't move when you do it in that order. And then when I go to have it in the morning, it just perfectly melts into one another.
Okay.
Every bite is perfect.
Okay, so how does Paul do it now?
So he's kind of all over the place. It's like he's got peanut butter at the bottom.
Okay, that's wrong.
It's wrong.
No, that's wrong because then it sticks to the bottom.
It sticks to the bottom, and then he's got the Greek yogurt in between. But then because of the granola, it's kind of stuck in all of the yogurt, and it's not the same.
I think you're both doing it wrong, actually. But he's only switching like 2 of yours around. He just needs to put the yogurt.
I know, and it's a simple thing for me to say, but I don't want to say anything because here he is doing something so nice. It's so thoughtful for him to take care of my breakfast at night so that I have something to take to work because I wake up so early. Now, in fairness, he learned how to do this from me because I make this very breakfast on the weekend for him.
Okay.
So he knows how it's done because I do it for him.
So maybe you can just say to him, hey, you know what? I find like my peanut butter is really sticking to the bottom of the container. Maybe just
because you're doing it wrong.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't say the words wrong.
Don't say you're doing it wrong.
Okay.
Just be like, hey, you know what? My peanut butter is getting stuck to the bottom of my container like a lot lately. So maybe do you mind just putting the yogurt on the bottom?
Oh, dear.
And just leave that. Don't tell him what order to put it in.
Okay.
Just be like, just throw the yogurt on the bottom. Maybe leave the peanut butter till the end or something.
I have a feeling, and I'm just like trying to picture it right now. He's going to look at me and he'll be like, oh, really? Oh, your breakfast isn't good enough the way it is. Like,
no, I say it's perfect. I feel like we're wasting. I'm not into food waste. So I don't want to waste the peanut butter, Paul.
I feel like you just said that, but I don't know that I'm going to have all of those words when I go to do it. And then I'm just going to be like, you're doing it wrong.
Exactly. That's why, because you just want to tell him he's wrong.
Yeah. So this is one of those situations where just be grateful, be quiet. It doesn't have to be done exactly the way you do it, and just, suck it up, eat it the way it is.
So then I guess listen to those words that
okay,
sorry.
Or have healthy communication and find a way to relay this information. I don't know. You tell me, do I say something to him or do I just leave it alone?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
From 98.1 CHFI.
I was asking for some advice, and wow, you had a lot to say about this. The phones were ringing off the hook. We had a lot of texts at 981-981 asking you if I should confront my husband about making my breakfast. He does a great job. He does this for me.
Can I just
every
say,
morning? It's so sweet. It's so
don't start by
thoughtful.
saying, should I confront?
Okay.
That's the problem. You're ready to fight him on this.
It feels like a confrontation to me.
Just tell him nicely.
The problem is the order of which he makes my breakfast is he's not doing it right. He's doing it wrong.
According to
me.
Okay.
Because I make him the same breakfast and I do it in the right order and he enjoys it and I enjoy it. And then he tried to do a nice thing by making me my breakfast, but instead he put it in the wrong order. So I don't know if I should say something or just leave it alone. Because saying something is good, healthy communication. Leaving it alone is just,
And confronting him is not what you're supposed to do.
Like, do I tell him he's doing it wrong? I don't know. So I wanted your advice. And Lynn from Toronto, do you have some for me?
First, remember, he's your best second half.
Yes.
So when you do anything, don't critique him. First, you praise him for a strong point. I thank you for being my children's father. Thank you for the best things he does at home.
Aww.
Then you tell him in a nice way what you want to say.
Okay.
But please write it down and go through it before you say to him.
I like that. And I want my breakfast a certain way. No, I'm kidding.
Okay.
Lynn, thank you. That's great advice. Appreciate it.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
So as soon as you get home today, thank you for being my children's father. Yogurt on the bottom.
I'm sure it will go over really well. Oh, my goodness. Such great advice at 981-981. A lot of you just, being so kind because I realize this is not a real problem, but I just...
Apparently
it's
it
not
is.
a real problem. I know. On the text line, I'm getting this one here. Paul is probably listening to the radio now and heard what you said. So now
You've already
he
told
knows.
him.
Now he knows.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't have to confront him.
Honey, dear, babe,
Yeah.
yogurt on the bottom.
I don't have to do any of that because he's been listening. And guess what? You're not wrong because I do see a text here from Paul.
And
He said, I'm going with granola at the bottom. Thanks,
Yes!
Steph.
You're
Thanks a lot,
welcome.
Steph.
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
I don't know how you're feeling, but I feel like last week was practice week. I feel like it didn't really count, even though we were all back to work, back to school, because I had all sorts of lofty goals over the holidays. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get organized. I'm going to sort through that. I'm going to get my pantry in order and my closet and all my clothes. And I'm going to donate. And there was a whole thing that I said I was going to do over the holidays.
And then you realized it was the holidays.
Yes. And instead I was like, ooh, those cookies look good.
Yeah.
And did none of it.
Yeah.
Was it just me?
Nope.
No.
Same thing. Same thing. I have my front closet. I'm like, this is getting gutted. And then I'm going to paint my handrail on my staircase. And I'm like, and then it was probably like the middle of the holidays. I'm like, why did I even think I was going to do any of that when I'm busy, like still catching up to the holidays, shopping, having people over, cooking.
All the things that come with the holidays. Yes, I agree with you. And then I was like, okay, the first week back, that's when I'm going to like make all the kids' appointments, do all the things I was supposed to do.
Yes, those appointments need to be out.
Yeah, I've got so many. I've got a dentist appointment I have to make for them. I've got a doctor's appointment I have to make for them. And then last week happened and it didn't feel real. Like I know we were all back, but it still, I wasn't sleeping, not back to routine fully. Meal prep, all the things that I would normally do in the week, I didn't do.
Exact same with me. Like my kids were not even on routine because they refused to go to bed earlier. I told them, I said, you guys are going to pay for this on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. You're not going to catch up. And they were exhausted all week. So that messed everything up. Same with meal prep. I wanted to do it, but got too busy doing other things. I don't know what it was, but I was just, it was such a bizarre week. Yeah.
I think busy has been everybody's favorite word. I promised myself in the new year, I was going to stop saying that because like you say busy and people just roll their eyes. They're like, yeah, welcome to the club. Everybody's busy. So this is the week. It's Monday. We're going to get motivated together.
I said this to you on Friday. I was like, okay, I'm really going to do my meal prep on Sunday.
Did you?
No, because now I had to clean all my ornaments and my decor for Christmas because I'm getting new appliances today.
Oh, fun.
So, yeah, not in the plan. But so that kind of has taken over. And now I'm probably not going to do meal prep till tomorrow.
Oh, my goodness. I know. And see, I said this. My gym bag is in the car.
Yeah, that doesn't do anything for you.
I know.
Because our gym is in the building.
I know.
And you have to walk past it to go to your car.
Supposed to go to the gym today. Listen, it's Monday. This is a restart for all of us. Let's make this week count, okay?
Okay.
All right. Go team.
The Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
This is the Pooja and Gurdeep Podcast.
So producer Steph just asked me a question. And I don't know the answer. I'm stumped on this one. Maybe you know the answer. You were curious about dialing 0 and what would happen.
I know. I was in my car yesterday and I had to look something up. So I pulled over, I looked something up and I was like, wait, I remember dialing 0 to get information. I'm like, I wonder if it still works. Why I didn't try it in that moment is because I had to be somewhere. And I thought about it all night. So I was like, right now I remembered, I'm like, do you know if you hit 0,
what happens?
If there's still an operator, like, can I call and ask for someone's number?
It's so weird because it's like flashes back memories of growing up and dialing 0. So we would dial 0 to call the operator for all sorts of things,
everything.
Like phone numbers,
addresses,
collect calls.
Yeah.
Do people even make collect calls anymore?
I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. I remember when I was like 5 or 6, I'd pick up the phone and I'd call 0 and they're like, are your parents there? I'm like, no. And I would just like talk to them. I was like bored. I know that's not what you were supposed to do, but I was a kid. But I loved the operator.
I'm now jealous because I'm like, oh, I could have had a friend in the operator.
Yeah, you weren't really allowed to do it.
Yeah.
You would have got in trouble.
Yeah, but you know what? Like if you're lacking friends, you could have just called the operator.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that when I was a kid. So I don't actually know. And did 411 replace the operator? Because you used to be able to call 411 and ask questions.
Too many numbers to know.
Yeah. Does 411 still exist?
I don't know. I just loved knowing that you could hit 0 and there was a human there that had all the answers.
Yes. I mean, now we can call 311, right? If you want to find out what's going on.
Well, now you can just
your garbage and whatnot.
Google
You
everything.
You could. But you're right. If you're driving and you just wanted to hit 0, would anybody pick up? Is that still a job?
I don't know.
And then if it is still a job, do they just sit there and like once in a blue moon?
Like when is Steph calling?
Somebody calls and they're like, oh, hi, want to be my friend?
It's the opposite now. They're like so thankful someone's calling.
Yes. And they're like, do your parents know? Because I hope they do so we can be friends. I don't know the answer. I think, should we
Do you want to try?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let's try right now.
What? Wait, let me try it. I'm going to dial 9 first.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Okay, let's try 00.
Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial
No one's
again.
there anymore.
I love that you just went 00. You're like, well,
I
you
remember
press it twice.
Because I remember someone saying at one point that you could do 00 instead. I don't know why they're making it more difficult, more numbers, but
know.
nothing works.
I don't know. And maybe we're just doing it wrong. Maybe because we're actually calling from our office line and you have to dial 9
Well,
to
I
get
tried
out.
9.
But then we also tried not dialing 9 and it
Yeah.
also didn't work.
Where
I don't
are
know.
my friends? Where are my friends at?
From CHFI Studios,
It's the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
So are your Christmas decorations still up? That's the question.
Nope.
I know. No, right?
Nope. Bye-bye.
I took all of mine down last weekend.
Yeah.
Not the outside, though. My lights are still up.
Yes.
But I did take everything else down, and it felt so good.
But are your lights on still?
They're still on.
Why?
Well, I notice on the street everybody else is.
Why you got to be
is
like
on.
everybody else?
Well, like it's so nice. It's so nice to
I
come
know.
up to a lit up house and
I've turned mine off
okay.
because I was debating that. I'm like, should I just leave them on still? And then I was like, no, turn it off.
I don't know what like the deadline is. Is January one of those months where it's like a transition month? Like as long as it's not up in February, you're okay. I don't know what all the rules are. It's very
I
personal.
don't know
I
if there's
think.
rules. I think people just do what they want.
Do what you want.
Yeah.
But like you're not going to be driving down the street going, those
No,
people.
that doesn't bug me. I turn mine off because I took my decorations down just to kind of clean everything up
Yep.
because it starts getting too cluttered after a while. I'm like, I'm turning the lights off too because it makes sense. Everything's done.
Everything's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. I took everything down also because like everything has glitter on it for some
I know,
reason.
and there still is glitter
there's
everywhere.
Still glitter everywhere. It was just nice to like put everything away, which was great. But there's a survey out and it's out of the US. I couldn't believe the results of this survey. So you guys tell me what you think about it. It says that in this survey, 45% of Americans, 45% think it's perfectly okay to keep your Christmas decorations up year round.
What? 45%?
Nearly half of Americans feel that it's completely fine to just keep your decorations up
Are they that festive though?
through the whole year. And I think like the idea here is that if it brings you joy,
Yeah.
why not?
That I'm just surprised at the number. I'm surprised it's 45%.
Yes,
Because
I
I
thought-
know people love Christmas and they would love to keep it up all year and even they don't. But 45%?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
it feels a bit extreme,
Yeah.
but I don't like. You tell me if you could, and let's just say that nobody was going to judge you, nobody cared, didn't bother anyone. Would you just keep your Christmas decorations up for the entire year,
like in your house?
and then like just not have to do anything come holiday time because it's already all up?
So my dad used to leave the lights up all year, and we had colored ones, and then the sun would bleach them. And I'm like, you can't do that because then they're gross when you turn them on in like December, November.
yeah,
and
and they don't make them like they used to, so you
No.
probably just damage them if you try doing that now.
Yeah, but he would leave them up. We didn't turn them on. But no, I don't think I could live in my house with Christmas decorations all year because I love putting it up and it looks beautiful when everything it goes up because the house looks full and it's festive. But then I want it gone and I want it cleaned up because it gets too cramped in there and it's too cluttered.
Yeah, having a Christmas tree takes up a lot of room
Yeah.
in itself, and some people have more than one as well. And it's something special about them going up. Like,
Yeah.
would it be less special if you just had
It's
it around
there.
all the time? I don't know. Okay, how about this?
5 calls,
Decide it all.
You tell us, how do you feel about your Christmas decorations being up all year, especially if it brings you joy? For it or against it? Keeping your decorations up all year. Do you understand why 45% of Americans think it's perfectly okay?
Would you want your neighbor to have their decorations and their blow-ups out all year, though?
Well, okay, so now we're getting into
That's
the nitty-gritty.
decorations.
Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty
Put
because
it
you're like,
somewhere I can't see it.
yeah. I don't want to see it, but if you want it in your house, that's okay. How do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up for the year? For it or against it?
The Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
from 98.1 CHFI.
There's a new survey out that reveals 45% of Americans that were polled in this survey think it's perfectly okay to keep your Christmas decorations up all year. And I want to know what you think about that. 5 calls decide it all.
5 calls,
Decide it all.
So how do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up all year? If it brings you joy, are you for it or are you against it? Let's go to Alex from Brampton.
I would leave the lights up all year long. In fact, I have been doing it for a few years on the balcony. They just don't put them on.
Wow.
But this is the first time in 60 years that I have not put out Christmas lights anywhere at all.
Okay, Alex, you are for it. I've got you down. Your vote's been counted.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Gary from Uxbridge. So how do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up all year? For it or against it?
I keep my Christmas lights on the lights on my house around all year round.
And they're on?
Because they're like a white light. I've got a couple Canadian geese that light up on the front lawn, but that's about it. Santa Claus, reindeer, stuff like that should all come down.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Your vote's been counted, Gary. Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. Jan from Grand Valley. So how do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up all year? For it or against it?
No way. Mine were down on the 27th.
Oh, really?
Wow.
That soon, huh?
Inside and out.
Okay. And did you have them up like way early or like do you only give it a couple of weeks?
You know, when I heard you mentioning there's no rules, for me, usually our tree is up and everything the 1st of December. And at the end of the year, I'm done.
Okay. Jan, your vote's been counted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dean from North York. So what do you think? How do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up all year? For it or against it?
Well, it took me a whole year to contemplate putting them up, so I think maybe I should keep them up for a year.
So I'm going to take it you're for it.
Yes, I am.
All right, Dean, your vote has been counted.
Thank you.
Thanks. Tina from Brantford. So what do you think? How do you feel about keeping your Christmas decorations up all year? For it or against it?
Oh, totally against it. We got to take those down. We got to refresh and start again and appreciate it when it's Christmas time.
Yeah, because maybe it will lose that sort of that special feeling, that holiday feeling, if you just see it all year round.
Absolutely. And if we did that for every holiday, we would just have Valentine's Day, Easter, Christmas. It would just be an explosion.
Yeah. Hearts and eggs on the tree. Yeah.
So, take it down, enjoy it while it's pertinent, and just refresh.
All right. Tina, your vote has been counted. Thank you for weighing in.
Thank you.
A holiday explosion doesn't sound so bad. I mean, maybe if that's your thing. But if you're keeping track there, that's 3 against, 2 for it. So there you go. 5 calls decide it all. You're against it. You're against it, even though the survey said that 45% of Americans are for it.
Thanks for listening to the Pooja and Gurdeep podcast.
Listen to Pooja and Gurdeep live weekday mornings from 5 to 9.
Only on 98.1 CHFI.
Toronto's perfect music mix.